Guys, so here's what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is I'm going to be reviewing the first part of Season 9 of Death Battle today. The bonus episode is going to get its own review tomorrow, and then the next day I'm going to review the rest of Season 9 because this is so long to do just one retrospective. I'm going to do three for the first half, the bonus, and the last. So hopefully y'all are fine with it. Let's get into it. I'ma do this shit until they murder me.
Wow, I'm Ringmaster and I love League of Legends.
So Harley Quinn versus Jinx is surprisingly fine if it's an uninteresting premiere. Not bad per se. It's not like Batman versus Black Panther levels, but it's also not fucking Yoda versus King Mickey. But hey, that's a high bar to reach. The episode is fine on its own. So it's just another DC character in a long line of DC battles. But starting off with Harley's analysis, it's fine. I mean, it goes over her backstory, that to her power set, but then they have this pogo stick joke, which carries on into Jinx's analysis. And honestly, that's all I can say, other than the fact that DC is like trying to push Harley like Batman. Man, you know? Speaking of Batman, man, he actually drops like a slur in one of the comics, and that's surprisingly I find funny. Oh, and the Ringmaster cameo, which is like whatever. I don't care about Ringmaster. Like, I don't hate the guy, but I wouldn't say he's my favorite host. So surprisingly, I'm neutral on this. But the thing that I find funny is that Wiz has a technical difficulty, and that's funny. Moving on to Jinx's analysis, we have that same pogo stick joke, but then there's a joke in there that I kind of forgot. It's like, I don't know, they transition from like Arcane to League of Legends with this advertisement, and that's like, why do you need that in there? This is far from shameless. This is just straight up product. This is just straight up, let's put this advertisement here so that it's basically unfunny. There's also this joke.
So like New Jersey. You could have just said New Jersey.
To say it's bad at all, I'm just looking for anything funny in these analyses. Because they have the pogo stick joke, the Ringmaster, a cameo. Cameo? I don't know. But I think he's worse in Jinx's analysis, as it's literally just a Ringmaster loving League of Legends advertisement. So anyways, to the animation, I have actually some things to say about it. Surprise, surprise. First of all, they try to go for a very specific atmosphere, and I think they pulled it off incredibly well. It is dark, gloomy, and everything Harley and Jinx are supposed to be. Actually, I don't know much about either of these two, so I don't know if this is a right environment for them. But then the models, so Jinx looks exactly like what she looks like in her home series. It looks like they were like, let me take that, yoink, and then placed it into this animation. Harley, meanwhile, looks like something I would absolutely draw. I'm not joking, by the way. Those solid color, those those color palettes are solid as hell, and her lighting doesn't even match the environment. Like I said, this looks like I would do this. No one else. And that's just funny. Then Harley yoinks her hammer out of existence just to pull out a gun and start the fight. So then we get into the fight. Jinx is like, alright, bet. Harley dodges a lot, which is pretty good. A crow goes boom. Oh, speaking of which, Jinx says, screw you, you evil bitches! I'll show you a murder! Is actually so stupid, my god. God, she sounds exactly what she is. A crazy ass bitch. But anyways, continuing the fight, Jinx is like, let me hit you. Or whatever, and then she gets herself hit, but somehow dodges and has this little exchange with Harley and her weapon, Ben. Okay, I like how Jinx goes out of her way to give her weapon some actual fucking emotions. Oh my god. But anyways, continuing this, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about the beginning of the fight. But then the next part of the fight comes with Jinx having a dynamite in her mouth, courtesy of Harley Quinn, and trying her best to keep it in her mouth like a fucking Looney Tune slapstick. This is some shit I would see on like those old cartoons like fucking Looney Tunes. Like, seriously, and then they're in a merry-go round. I forgot to mention that, which is actually funny when you see they're going incredibly slow. And then like shoot some lightning, which Harley dodges. Jinx shoots a boxing glove. Jinx gives her the dynamite, and then she goes boom. But before she goes boom, she has this little gag with like, oh crap. It's like one of those Looney Tunes characters who realize that they're dead and are like, ah shit. So yeah, that was actually fun. But then Jinx rides around in her fucking weapon, lands on a roller coaster, bruh, and then this exchange is funny. It just feels like two guys fighting over what's theirs, except these two are not teens, they're crazy ass bitches. And they teleport to different areas, including the incredibly disappointing Blake vs. Mikasa. But yeah, they continue on, and then this moment happens, where they also have a Looney skag of them just on mid-air, realizing they're about to fall, and then they fall. As someone who has seen a lot of those cartoons, that's actually funny. But why is there a strange focus on Looney Tune gags in this? So yeah, that was the first and second part, which is not too special on its own. But then this moment happens, and my god, it is fucking terrifying. Jinx is there, right? In the room, and then she gets Joker Venom by Harley via present. But Harley fucked up. This causes Jinx to go absolutely mad. If she wasn't a crazy bitch before, she definitely is now. Fighting a reflection of, I believe, what's his name? V, her sister, apparently? I don't know, my guy, but then she grabs the camera and starts to shoot it while an image of Harley appears behind her. And then Harley spins around as if she's Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, or maybe she thinks she's the Flash, and then comes behind Jinx and tries to hit her with a hammer. Jinx, not having that shit, is like, I don't need a second opinion, and then just shoots Harley a punch. with the only blood that Harley has is in her cleavage. Strange, because she was shot all over the place. Why isn't there more blood? Well, whatever. Then Harley tries to pull a Joker to shock Jinx. What does Jinx do again? She says, "Nah, bye-bye," and then just shoots her up into the sky, blows the F up, her head falling on that machine she was doing earlier. Yeah, and then the fireworks display writing the words, "Get Jinx." My God, that is a great way to end it. And then the conclusion comes and it's fine. But the only thing I would like to say is, saying that this is a complicated fight when Jinx clearly has everything, is as if saying a Russian wrestler versus a goddamn bear is a complicated fight. Because as we all know, the Russian wrestler wins. That is Death Battle Season 1 reference for all you OGs out there. But of course, this battle ain't perfect. Oh, ain't perfect. There's too much focus on Looney Tune gags. That one moment where Harley treats the dynamite as a cigar is weird because Jinx somehow obliges. But then again, I don't know how Jinx is like, so this is probably what she's like. Neither I do Harley. But overall, it's not a great premiere, but it's still a good premiere to start off Season 9. Unlike Batman vs. Black Panther, which literally fails on doing that exact thing premieres are supposed to be doing. I wouldn't say this is Yoda vs. King Mickey levels, but it's still a good premiere to start off with. But of course, they follow a DC fight with this one.
What's the difference? Presentation!
I first saw Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna, I basically was like bored out of my mind the first time I watched it. I swear to you, I was so bored, like there was no emotion for me throughout the entire thing. With the only emotion is the emotion of surprise that Zatanna won, considering I mostly see Scarlet Witch taking a dub in this matchup. But that was it. That was all. But on a rewatch, it isn't that bad. After all, everything deserves a second chance, right? So starting off with Scarlet Witch's analysis, it was as uninteresting as I thought it was. Is this. The only thing I would say is that Jocelyn's here for some reason or another. I don't know why, but she ends up doing a death battle. So yeah. But once again, it's uninteresting. I didn't care about Scarlet Witch, and this definitely didn't help. Zatanna's meanwhile, makes me wish she was actually real, because let me tell ya, if I was in a crowd and Zatanna was the one with the fucking magician, I swear to you, I'll give you the money to go on that show, and not because it's Zatanna, it's because Because you actually get your money's worth, as this is actual fucking magic. Though I do like that theory that this guy that I forgot the name of, I'm sure it'll pop into my head eventually. Actually saying that the reason for Zatanna's backward speech is because this guy written his text backwards to avoid people knowing about it. Or he was left-handed. Like I said, I kind of forgot. I'm sure it will click into my mind eventually, but still. But still, it's interesting to bring up these kinds of things. But then, then there's this scene that makes it real, which I was there. Or maybe not. I would be absolutely terrified if a magician stick their hand out and fucking grab me out of the crowd. I don't care if it's Zatanna. I still would not want that to happen to me. But other than that, there's nothing else I would like to say, surprisingly. And that's a shame, because Zatanna seems like a more interesting character than Daddy Issues girl. Actually, she does have an issue of her dad dying again. And then we go into the fight. As I don't have anything else to say about the analysis. So we start off with Zatanna in a show doing some magic, and forgot to bring her pants on the day. Fun. And then she pulls out Scarlet Witch for some fucking reason. And then the crowd is like, yay! And then Scarlet Witch does a weak threat to her. Why? I don't know. And that's somehow what starts the fight? Are you serious, Zatanna? You're going to get upset because some Russian girl who has an issue with her life is like, hey, what kind of stupid sorcerer are you? You kind of shit. And I like how they try to do like a Russian accent for her, or at least I think it's a Russian accent. Then I think, I don't know. And then she turns into a rabbit as a response of being tied up. So, oh my god. And that is... And then Scarlet Witch pops every single one of them, then with a card that has Superman. And then she grabs a card with Superman on it, and then punches her. Hey, this is technically the third death battle Superman is in the animation. Granted, it's magic by Zatanna, but who cares? And then Witch summons the Hulk to bash Superman. Are you serious? This is Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna, not Hulk versus Superman. And hey, Thor gets his revenge on Wonder Woman. Man, so that's fun. But still, why do we need to focus on Superman, Hulk, Thor, and Wonder Woman? But then the currents turn into the Skull, which after turning into Red Raven for a moment, meant. And then we get ourselves a Megamind reference because I completely missed it the first time. But I'm glad I did because I remember liking Megamind. themes. I watched Megamind a while ago. So, yeah, despite that, there's also this scene where there's a bunch of universes, and then Scarlet Witch kills the universe by crushing it in her hand while saying, "Now make it like a magician and disappear," which is a weak line. And then Zatanna's like, "Oh, let me juggle these for a moment here," and then just boop, 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 and despite the fact that none of them seem to hurt her, she still does that. And then, thanks to her noise, it caused me to say no more sound. Which, after Zatanna tries to do another spell. But then Zatanna is like, oh, like, I don't need to talk to do my spells. I just like speaking like this. Now for my last trick, no more witches. No more witches, no more bitches. So then she traps Scarlet Witch into a box and then just saws her in half. She comes back to the crowd and brings the body with her. And that's our show, ladies and germs. So yeah, the animation was incredibly short. And bored. And it's a shame that I was bored the first time watching, because there was a lot of things I liked in there. And hey, now I want to know more about Zatanna. Somehow not of Wanda, though. Surprise, surprise. Hi. So, this is kind of... So, here's the thing, though. Unlike Doctor Strange vs. Dr. Fate, where they at least are doing some magic, you know, going into this location and then this location, bada bing, bada boom, boom, with some magic thrown between. This one has them then summoning Marvel and DC characters to fight for them. That's pretty much boring, but hey, overall, the fight isn't bad at all. The animation isn't bad. I just hate that I was so bored watching it the first time. Because there's a lot to like from here. But hey, the next one, I was not bored at all. And it was...
Ah, damn it!
Wow, so not only did Dio got a surprisingly great episode against Alucard, but Johnathan did against Tanjiro? Let's fucking go! This is definitely the glow-up JoJo needed. So anyways, it's good to have, like, a character who is not a stand user in Death Battle against someone else who also defeats monsters with the power of breathing. But honestly, this is basically the Johnathan Joestar episode for me. Tanjiro's just featured in it. First of all, Tanjiro's analysis is kind of just there. I mean, it's great to hear his kind-hearted nature, how he's willing to do anything to avenge his sister. Sure, but that's pretty much it. But then there's this anime made edgy sword man joke in there, and that's kind of cringe. Not gonna lie. I was gonna say not gonna lie, Wiz, but it's Boomstick who said it. So yeah. But then Wiz is like, and whatever Inosuke is at the end. So that's pretty much funny, because what the fuck is Inosuke to be? Also, boy, you better get Get that boar mask out of your face. Cooks, come on. Come on, you look ridiculous. Okay, I'm done roasting Inosuke. Now, and Johnathan's analysis? My god, it's pretty much a perfect analysis. Okay. Says, except for, like, the anime protagonist penny joke, because not only are you showing William Zeppeli there, but also Joseph is a thing. Joseph Joestar. You guys forgot about him. I mean, it's easy to do so when part 3 turns him into this old fucking geezer, sir. But anyways, I digress. Johnathan, he's actually dealt really well with a great anime glow up from this weak little wimpy bitch to this absolute unit of an Englishman, and beating up vampires like it's nothing. Okay, but of course he does, and of course, they did try to explain how it works by using a real life person. But not only is the guy in question showed that what he has done is wrong, and it's not supported by anything, but also people died trying his method. But then they got into the Johnathan Scales to Dio's part 3. But I feel like that should have been explained, because that is my biggest doubt of the entire episode. Oh, and the ripple is his dick ending. That is the worst ending you could have ended off with. So yeah, the analysis was kind of there for both. Let's talk about the animation now. Stupid ad. And so we start, and immediately we get the setup. Johnathan is trying to slay Nezuko, believing she's a part of Dio's lackey. And Tanjiro is like, back off. But of course that doesn't work. Yeah. And while I can't see Johnathan acting like this, he is kind of like her. Right? You know, it's a good setup, but then the ending kind of ruins it, but we'll get to it. And so the battle begins, and already Tanjiro showed to be the better swordsman. And what is Jonathan's response to Tanjiro disarming him? Go punch the ever-living crap out of him. He does act like a stand there, like he's freaking Star Platinum going there. For some reason, I thought he was gonna do the ora thing because of the way he does it. That is so funny. And then they include the zoom punch, and they already made up for the scene. Then he catches the sword, and then Tanjiro throws piss at him. I like how, in the conclusion, they talked about how Johnathan is better at fisticuffs than Tanjiro, and it shows with this scene where Rick and Johnathan then decides to block Tanjiro's sword with his fucking fist. He has a sword, and yet with his fist. That is a fucking JoJo moment, and that's perfect. Tanjiro's surprised. Then he stabs him, and then this response to him being stabbed is to kick. That's right, kick freaking Tanjiro. Then he grabs a tree and then tries to attack him with it. Then he throws the fucking thing. What the hell? And then Tanjiro uses Himokamekagura. I don't know. I don't know if I say it right, but it's like the sun dance or something. And then he fucks out like Johnathan's about to attack him and then block him. We have this exchange. And then we got the Scarlet Overdrive. And then Tanjiro figures out that Johnathan is using breathing to give him the powers, just like he is. And so he knows how to stop him by freaking trying to attack his fucking lungs. And then we get another JoJo moment where Johnathan was like, wait, why is he doing this? Is he trying to get my neck? Does he know what how I have my powers? That is a JoJo moment, even if I need to deal with the fact that he's sitting there not even moving his sword. Then making contact with Tanjiro's blade, he uses the metal's drive. I would like to say the voice acting for that sells every single one of his fucking lines with the shout I expect from Johnathan. But of course it cuts to black and then breeze and shatters just Jonathan's fucking sword. Then we get the thread, which is a fucking demon slayer. It's like, I like this as the visuals of Demon Slayer, and yet the moments feel like they're straight out of JoJo's. So anyways, Johnathan finally figures out in the most JoJo way possible that he's trying to go for his lungs. And so after he stabs Johnathan. Tanjiro's sure he got the victory. Then he realized he's 2 inches off. Realizing that he dodged, Johnathan isn't going down without a fight. Electrifying Tanjiro and finishing off with the sunlight yellow overdrive. And because of the voice acting this guy uses, every single one of them feels like they're worthy of being the final blow. Yet he pulls off the sunlight yellow overdrive perfectly. And then the ending happens. Remember when I said that the ending kind of makes the whole setup stupid? Well, here's the reason. Tanjiro, in his state, decides to tell Johnathan that Nezuko is his sister, making the entire fight pointless, as he could have just said, "Hey, this is my sister," and it would have not done the fight at all. Oh, and then they tried to make it like a moment that, they try to give these guys the respect that they deserve. Basically, they looked at Aang versus Edward and was like, "Oh, let's make it so that the two still kill, but it's in character." So what they did was made Johnathan give Tanjiro a merciful kill. And then we see Nezuko behind the tree. Johnathan reaching out his hand, Nezuko hesitating, and then cuts. The ending is nice, though the anime tier line that has on then is a bit stupid. But still, I like what they try to do, and I can tell they try to keep these two in character. But there's another episode that they do where the ending is like in character, where the victor gives the loser a merciful kill. But we'll get to that. So the conclusion happens, and it pretty much explains a lot. Though I still am iffy with the Part 3 Dio scaling Johnathan has. But still, the conclusion is fine enough. Going over how Tanjiro has a longer training with far more experienced teachers, better at swordsmanship than Johnathan, and then everything else Johnathan has, and then yes. So overall, I think the episode is borderline perfect. They took a character who was unwilling to harm anyone unless they actually deserve the harm coming to them, and still kept them in character while following the rules of the show, which is honestly what Aang vs. Edward should have been. I know I bring it up so much, but still, people want to see Aang because they want to see Aang. What they instead see is Aang if he didn't follow his like, I don't know what to call it, monk philosophy? I don't know. No, but still, the episode was pretty good. Good. This episode I like extremely, and the music complements it perfectly, combining both JoJo and Demon Slayer into this absolute perfect background music for the fight. But while this episode has good background music, the next episode has a better music that I would listen to.
Moments, all you'll be feeling is oblivion!
Thor vs. Vegeta is basically just the cape shit fight to end all cape shit fights, even more than Goku vs. Superman. Starting off with the analysis, as Thor's went surprisingly well. Well, starting off with the Norse mythology version of him, the original, and then transitioning on to the Marvel version. So basically, that's a good transition, and I like that tree feet, the thing of stopping the universe. I like the New York joke for some reason. Then I like the fact that actually I don't think I have much to say about Thor's analysis, aside from the fact that he arm wrestled so fucking Hercules. But yeah, still, there's not much to say aside from Mjolnir, who still has the same origin but a good introduction by Riz, and he has a big axe called Yorn, which I thought was Stormbreaker apparently. Yeah, I didn't really watch much of the comics. But then there's a cutaway that actually shows that Boomstick is apparently worthy. Why? Okay, he's worthy, but what does that mean? Are they trying to set up Wiz versus Boomstick? First of all, that's Nemesis thing. Don't try to copy Nemesis. Anyways, continuing on to Vegeta's analysis, because while Thor's doesn't have much joke I interest in, especially that what is it, blank time tide feet of 1 billion Earths or whatever. With the ending basically just saying that Norse people have no need to worry about Thor, while Greek has to worry about Zeus, which even in Marvel Comics is a bit of an asshole. So Vegeta's is surprisingly perfect. This is basic. So I guess we have a Batman versus Iron Man situation where one has been returned several times and so not have much to talk about, and the other is literally here for a second time. So there's a lot to talk about. But still, I like how it's set up. Especially that little thing about Vegeta's background being 68 and so close. But apparently say he's not 68. His weight is 123 pounds, which is amusing. One, two, three, and it's and he dislikes Frieza, losing to Kakarot and Tien. Losing to Kakarot is not something he's more or less upset with anymore. But I do like their music. But their music choices is actually perfect when they talk about how he got Super Saiyan God, because that's actually epic. And of course, I had to bring up Ultra Ego. Ultra fucking Ego. It takes rid of his fucking, what is it called? Widow's Peak? And talks about Hakai as if that's something like he used before. But apparently, what I've heard, Vegeta only used it to destroy some pebbles, while Goku used it to destroy Zamasu. In like that one manga, I think. He has no eyebrows! He has no fucking eyebrows! What the fuck is Ultra Ego? Why? Oh my god. First, why should I care? This is Ultra Ego and fucking Frieza. Black Frieza? Black fucking Frieza. Why? Yeah. Okay, enough of Dragon Ball system. Vegeta's analysis is better than Thor by virtue of him coming back for only a second time, while Thor had multiple runs against Raiden, against Wonder Woman, and now against Vegeta. Now on to the fight. Now my first question, why is Thor like walking around holding Mjolnir in one hand and fucking picking up a tree on the other? What is he gonna do with the fucking tree? What, did he pull it out of the ground for some fucking reason? Was he gonna plant it somewhere else? I don't know, it's up for interpretation. But then the tree gets destroyed because Vegeta is powering up. Then Thor throws his hammer and Vegeta two Broly's born for a second. Then Thor acts like a complete fucking child. And then Vegeta threatens him. Okay, so Thor basically said, "What are you doing here?" essentially. And Vegeta, instead of saying something like, "What? I live here," he threatens him. And of course, Thor gets to be Complete fucking ass. Oh. Well, for some reason. Then Vegeta starts the fight. It's the fight. Now, a lot of people's problem with the episode is its pacing. They don't even use Super Saiyan or even Super Saiyan 2. No, he just goes to Super Saiyan Blue. Or maybe Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. Shit, maybe. Then he Hakai's the axe for some reason. First of all, why did Thor use an axe? Second of all, why did Vegeta Hakai the axe? Oh my god. And then he starts wailing on Thor. And throws a big bang at him. And then Thor absorbs the big bang, throws Mjolnir at him. Vegeta catches it, believing he is worthy, maybe. And then the hammer falls, with Thor saying, You're not worthy. See, I like how they try to talk like he's a fucking Viking, because he's like from like Norse mythology. And then Vegeta turns into Ultra Ego. Now, I get it, the pacing, but my bigger question, why the fuck did he use Ultra Ego? And then of course, he begins wailing on him. And all that leads is to him getting stronger. And then he uppercuts the dang bastard, throws it to a road, and then does this. He basically just destroys everything except for Thor. And then he throws him around, wails on him a bunch, uses his rings for some reason, fucking chest bumps him. And then Thor's like, no fear, only thunder. Honestly, just replace thunder with madness and that would have been fun to listen to. And then we get the most generic of flying, right, like, seriously, this is basically the most generic fighting they could have done. But then the ending thing, Thor uses his God Blast, I think, and doesn't even destroy the mountain for some reason. Bro, are you that fucking weak? But then Vegeta uses the Final Flash! Which honestly looks good, and Vegeta's voice actor actually said the Final Flash with the perfect inflection. But then of course Vegeta emerges on Urges, fucked up as hell, but refuses to go down. Vegeta, I think, is trying to use his explosion suicide thing, but then Thor says, always aim for the head, which when I first saw it, I was like, well, maybe he's just remembering from Thanos, you know, no, it's just my thing. It's just my thing. You can think of it whatever you like. And then Thor raises his hand and yells in victory, as if he doesn't know he actually murdered someone who was just minding his own business. Then Boomstick says, oh, I get it. Really, Boomstick? But anyways, the conclusion was fine. Explain to when, blah blah blah. Went into great depths in detail on how similar they are in strength. And Thor got faster, apparently. So, yeah, that's a takeaway. Oh my god. Alright. Hey, overall, the episode itself is fine, but there is one thing about the episode that I simply cannot go without talking. The music. Princess of Pride is a perfect music. Well, it fits more as like a music I will listen to when I'm jogging or some shit like that. But it's still a great track, and I would absolutely love to listen to it. But even that on its own, and despite how cool the animation looks, I still can't. But it's still just generic fighting with Thor being wailed on. Nope. There's no build up to the victory. None of that. It's just, oh, okay, Thor wins. But still. Also, why is Thor not strong enough to destroy the mountain? This is his God Blast. Destroy the mountain at the very least. Oh god, I'm sure there's people who could be saying they're not gonna be that strong. Which, no shit, stupid. They actually try to hold back when their powers because they know they can destroy the planet. But what I'm saying is, at least destroy the mountain, you fucking static use of a god. Oh my god. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, so that was the episode. So that was Thor vs. Vegeta. Not the best, but not the worst either. I'm still gonna give it credits for the visuals, which is absolutely perfect. And a lot of death battles have these 3D backgrounds with the sprites, which is, oh my god, they are so good. Aside from Vegeta falling, of course. But then, the next time, oh boy. Before I get to the next time, if you are weak to like blood or gore or anything I'm gonna talk about the next one, you might wanna I don't know, my god, you can skip it if you want, but still, this is gonna be an incredibly brutal death battle. Here we go.
No one's good enough, go and fuck yourself!
Boy, was this episode as good as it was. So, Homelander vs. Omni-Man is actually a surprisingly decent matchup. With, the fact that this was surprisingly good despite the shit matchup is actually impressive. And pretty much the analysis starts off with that Superman joke, which Wiz calls how stupid it is immediately. Okay, he doesn't call it stupid, but he does say his name is in the title of the video, so yeah. Yeah, oh, and that Superman mustache joke is actually a joke I actually laughed at, surprisingly. Also, on his background, it says he really wants his son to think, referring to the classic meme think mark. But then we get to the fact that his entire race is fucking brutal. Like, seriously. This show is incredibly brutal. But then we got cut off with the fact that Wiz debunks Smart Adams, which causes Boomstick to set Wiz on fire here when he calls it debunked. Which is actually pretty funny, I guess. Just funny, I guess? I don't know. But hey, at least better than Homelander's cutaway. Then we continue with the analysis, and we get even more brutalities. my God, they brought up weaknesses of Viltrumites like their heat and their equilibrium, and then they talk about how that will make them stronger somehow. That is honestly pretty much, no. And then we talk about his character arc in, like, the show. And if there's anything I like about the analysis, it's the fact that when they try to talk about Omni-Man deflecting a meteor the size of Texas, they use this weird version of Texas, and that is honestly funny. It's one of the most funniest shit I've ever seen them do. And it does, and I don't care if it drags on too much. It's too funny not to complain about. Now, the only thing I would like to say is they say that's enough to blow the moon over while showing the moon having a big fucking terrifying hole in it. Seriously, that shit looks like a mouth. But then we get to his character arc in the show, and that's a perfect way to end it off with. And then we get to Homelanders, and then we talk about, hey, that's pretty. Hey, imagine if you live in a world where superheroes are real and they're big fucking business. This fake ass Superman is actually a killer. A complete psycho who cares about his public image and that's. Also, I like how Chad delivered his boomstick line when he said the Jesus, which is that's honestly funny, and I don't know why. Also, when they say he probably eats freedom and shits eagles, they actually have a fart sound effect and eagles in the background, and I don't know what to say about that. Also, when they bring up the background, it says he enjoys attention, fame, and milk. And I was like, let's add in blood with the scene they shown. And I still don't know what media training even is. Yes, but anyways, they talk about how this fake-ass Superman was created. And basically was like, this guy, humanity kind of made this guy the strongest being in the entire world and raised him in one of the most unhealthiest condition to ever exist. And then there's this cutaway, which is disgusting due to the subject matter. But, oh my god. So, Homelander's analysis. Do I enjoy it? Well, I like it. I mean, I could say, it goes over everything, especially how much people hate this guy. And why wouldn't they? And then we get to the animation, and my god, this is borderline perfect. The best setup. Omni-Man is like flying home, enters his house, and then he sees Homelander in it, drinking cocoa and talking about how much he is. He just boasts about himself, basically talking about he's a brand, and that brand means something, blah blah blah, and figuring out his origin as an alien, and with the line of how is he compared to an alien, and then he reveals he killed Omni-Man's wife. which I kind of forgot her name, but yeah. This kind of pisses off Omni-Man, so he makes this threat after Homelander's get the fuck out of my country by saying he's gonna feed him his own heart. He tries to laugh it off and calling it a great line, but then he shows that Omni-Man is not joking around. He will follow up on his promise, and then he kind of like beats him up, basically. Just beats his ass up, and is like, country? I'm not here for your country. Which carries the same fucking energy as, you don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer. And then we, accompanied with the track that played when he destroys the flagships, which is pretty much the perfect track for this matchup, obviously. Not saying I would listen to this on its own, but it still perfectly complements, and then we get references that feel natural in the fight. Alright, Omni-Man's use of public transportation to run someone in, and the plane from the boys. Alright, and then of course, Omni-Man that dominates because he does, and then Homelander gets his moment by screaming so loud it destroys his whatever it's called that keeps him flying. And then they kill a bunch of people. Well, and then Homelander starts becoming Nikocado Avocado, just having a full-on mental breakdown. He's throwing a tantrum, he's being a man-child. Well, and then Omni-Man shuts him the hell up because he mentioned just that he's going to kill his son, and that's like the end of the line. He's about to feed him his heart now. Now, then we get the angle, and then it's like, Merry Christmas, and then flies off. Also, I have, the only thing I can talk about the conclusion is, I'm glad that Wiz didn't try to say, this was a close fight. Instead, he says, despite Lander's dominance in the worlds of the boys, he's a big fish in a small pond. Red Joe said, whatever he said. But after that, oh my god, I have background noises, just ignore. So, well, basically, that was Homelander versus Omni-Man. Did I like it? Yeah, it's basically my favorite episode for a while. But then the other episodes happened. And that's basically it. Next up is a new character facing against Magneto. So, looking forward for that.
The amount of people who think Magneto's powers are just ferromagnetic is absurd. It's gotta be like, at least 9 million people. Don't ask where the number came from.
Nemesis. I will not question it. But Magneto vs. Tetsuo is basically the matchup of all matchups. Well, I wouldn't say I'm interested in the matchup. I am interested in Tetsuo, as I know very little about him. And what I got is that he's basically just the type of guy who would, like the type of guy who likes to be top dog because he has a small fucking penis. But the Magneto's is more interesting somehow, character-wise, not the analysis. Though at the very least they did talk about how he's more than just ferromagnetic, which, yeah, that's interesting. And also they put a wooden gun joke in there. Somehow. But anyways, there's not much interesting about Magneto's. Tetsuo's, meanwhile, there's a lot to talk about. They do make fun of his forehead, which is kind of cringe. Yeah, it is. And then they talk about how then they talk about like this guy called he's called like what's this called? Kaneda, yeah. Yeah, and then we get Tetsuo. So good old Tetsuo is a little bitch. A bitch who just wants to be top dog, but then because of this motorcycle incident, he does become the top dog. Basically, he becomes a massive dick. Ironic. So he went from a guy who breathes small dick energy to now guy who breathes big dick energy. That is pretty much weird, but once again, the disturbing visuals that whiz cutaway way was cringe as fuck. And also the sound effects they use for as actually tells how fucking gruesome some scenes are. And of course Tetsuo. Right, and I like how Boomstick is like, screw the planet, I guess, stupid moon. And then they talk about Tetsuo's downfall and his mutation. And then they talk about ego death, which is the name of the track. Which complements the fight pretty solidly. But speaking of the animation, let's talk about it. First began Magneto, with his cape apparently having a mind of its own. I mean, look at it. It looks like he's not even attached to his body. See? Then Tetsuo comes in with the weirdest fucking sprite ever. And then we get this cool hand-drawn shot of Tetsuo's hands in front of Magneto's nose. Then Tetsuo blasts it away with his powers, which is cool. And then we get to say, "You're dead meat," which just makes me think of like the guy behind the kill counts. But still, Magneto calls Tetsuo an impudent child, in which Tetsuo responds with, "Who the hell are you calling child?" No, it's like his ego is his downfall, basically. And I like how the fact that Magneto can control any metal in the around him, it leads to some cool visuals. Like the fact that he takes his building and throws it at Tetsuo, who decides to catch it with his jet, saying that he'll kill Magneto in this crazy rage, and calling him history and a scumbag. It's like, seriously, this guy breathes big dick energy. And then Magneto takes that same building and throws it at Tetsuo, who decides to scream at it. I don't know, he might headbutt it. Then he does a Dragon Ball combo on Magneto, and then clash, coloring the earth with red and purple. Then it hard cuts to Magneto's helmet falling off and getting destroyed, and Tetsuo basically just crushing Magneto. Not crushing, he's squeezing his neck, causing him to spill blood and his disgusting face. But Tetsuo effed up, because he tried to choke Magneto with a metal arm. And so Magneto shows how fucked up Tetsuo is by grabbing that same metal arm and choking him with it, saying that he had enough of it. But then, Tetsuo mutates, setting back and actually causing him to be actually worried for once. This entire fight, there are moments that he's concerned, but not like moments where like, oh shit, what the fuck? But this moment sells it. Said because of the state Tetsuo is, he tries to ask Magneto for help, but help, which we then get the awesome welcome to die. He says welcome to pause and then die, which is fine because of the state he's in. He has conflicting emotions until finally he reaches out to Magneto for help, saying that it hurts. Then he grabs Magneto, and then Magneto, in response, uses the iron in his own blood to make fucking saws, which he does briefly use to fight against Tetsuo, but it proves ultimately useless as he just grabs them and creates the Big Bang, in which Magneto catches it and fires it at him, destroying Tetsuo's mutation. Tetsuo, reaching out, does a method, and what does Magneto do? He shoots a laser beam in his forehead, giving him a mercy kill. This is the other episode I was talking about, but unlike Johnathan vs. Tanjiro, it's actually less funny and more sad as it's supposed to be intended. And then the conclusion comes, and they talk about how if Tetsuo, and says even if Tetsuo was able to create a Big Bang, a universal scale event, and Magneto can command a similar levels of power, and because of the properties of the Big Bang featuring proton collapse, it's no question that Magneto can control this Big Bang. And Magneto was like, damn, and I thought he could just throw a bunch of metal around. But nope, he can do a lot of things. And honestly, it's cooler than just controlling metal. No, but of course, the conclusion is good. It goes in depth, and I kind of like it. I like how every time I say in the conclusion they go in depth, but one episode in particular does kind of drop the ball with the conclusion. We'll get to that later. But then the next time happens, and let me tell ya, I was not expecting it.
I am the god of strength.
Yeah, Hercules versus Sun Wukong. It's a unique death battle in the fact that it's like a mythology death battle. And because they accepted mythology characters, this is reason for them to do the goated Zeus versus Odin. But of course, they focused on not on Hercules, but on Heracles, the original Greek version. Again, I like how his original name is frickin' Alcaeus, and then renamed to Heracles, the Greek god of strength. And do not think he got that name for nothing. This guy is a strong motherfucker. Okay. And I like how the tragedy of Heracles is spoken with very few humor. Though I do like the fact that Hercules' solution to a lion whose height cannot be pierced by ordinary piercing weapon, it's the bear hug dead thing, beat it to death, and wear it as armor. That is metal. I swear to you, that is metal as hell, and I like it. The Hydra thing was also pretty well done as well. But of course, Sun Wukong's is actually more interesting somehow. Probably because I don't even know who the heck the guy is. Although I do see that there are some myths where Hercules turned into Atlas to actually lift up the conceptual infinity of strength cannot. The concept of contest of strength cannot defeat him. That is perfect. That is perfect. That is a good analysis for Hercules. But then Sun Wukong's happened, and my God, does it start off with a good story? And then it talks about the handsome monkey king. I do love this. His other titles is like the Great Stage Equal to Heaven and the Victorious Fighting Buddha. Though there are too many Goku references in there and shonen anime, which I get it, but still, that doesn't mean you get to, continuing make the reference as if it's supposed to be funny anymore. The monk. Also, they should have said Monkey Awakened to the Void, as that's awesome. That's an awesome title to have. Though I do like the fact that this guy is... Oh boy, this guy, seriously. Say, what the fuck? Okay, so, he first got immortality because of some guy teaching it. Then he got another immortality because he crossed his name off of death. Double immortality? How the fuck does that work? Then he ate like the immortal peaches, drank the heaven's wine, and then 5 gourds of immortality pills, which he swallowed every single one of them. Also, they didn't say the wine in the episode, but from what I've heard he also got immortality from the wine. And he literally, the immortal thinks they could not defeat him. Now, I do like the fact that Wiz decided to spray something into Gloomstick's eyes, and so he tries to act this is not painful, but it fucking is, and he goes crazy over it. Right? And then the Buddha. Okay, I like the fact that Buddha is like, oh, hey, Sun Wukong, I have a challenge for you. Leap to the end of the universe. Leap off of my hand. But because... and basically all of existence. It's like... Oh my god, that is... such a... I have zero things to talk about because, but once again, enough of the Goku jokes. And that's it. Although that, the analysis are pretty good. And then we get to the animation, which is done in a style as if this is a story of how Hercules, the Greek god of strength, and Sun Wukong, the great stage equal to heaven, met each other. And while Hercules got too threatening at the beginning, I can accept it because, he has Hercules. And Sun Wukong as this mischievous is Bastard is pretty funny, but but while I do like the voice acting for like Hercules and Sun Wukong, there's a third one, the narrator. And while I do admit there are moments where I feel like he should not have said or have been free, namely the Monkey King emerged victorious, as that's kind of spoiling the fight without Boomstick and Wiz. It's literally just, and the Monkey King emerged victorious. Like, but other than that, it's still good. Also, special mention to Hercules' multiple heads, of course, as a reference to his fight against the Hydra. But of course we get this moment. Then I felt like Hercules was like firing 3 arrows for the 3 heads, but no, he literally just shot them into one, revealing to be a clone, and then Sun Wukong goes in, and then just smacks, like, oh my god. It's like confusing at the end though, like, okay, what happened? But it's like, what's going on? But yeah, other than that confusing ending and the disappointing death, which is literally just an ink explosion thing, the episode is still good overall. Especially the conclusion. So yeah, this is an incredibly unique death battle, which, not perfect by any means, still showed that they can absolutely handle mythology characters. And that's why the goated Zeus versus Odin exists, as well as another called Helios versus Amaterasu, and even Ares versus that, I forget whoever for Ares would have fought against. Though Greek mythology versus Roman mythology is pretty funny because it's like them versus themselves. And that's kind of funny, but you know. And now we get to the next death battle, which is where the death battle's perfect conclusion kind of falls apart.
163rd episode of Death Battle is Boba Fett vs. Predator.
That's all it has going for it. Predator vs. Boba Fett isn't really a bad episode, but it's just uninteresting AF. Starting off, Boba Fett's analysis doesn't feel like it changed much aside from the fact that he has new weapons and has done new things. Which, that's it. He still has that fear of the Sarlacc. He still is Boba Fett. And of course, we have, oh my god, background noises. Boba Fett's analysis didn't change, and Predator's is uninteresting AF. Aside from the jokes, which includes Django let it go to his head. Dummy has personal heroes that wants to kill meatbags. We got Wiz not able to pronounce Yautja. Penis mouth. Lions, tigers, and bears? What the fuck? And sexual Tyrannosaurus. Why? These jokes aren't really that funny. Though, the only time I got any emotion out of this is when they call back to, what's it called? Oh yeah, Mega Man vs. Astro Boy with the butt cannons. Due to the fact that they mention he has missiles in his fucking knees. Why? But of course, Boba Fett has the new weapon, the new thing. He's got explosives. But that's pretty much it. He has nothing new to bring to the table. both, so the analysis are uninteresting AF. What about the animation? Well, I gotta admit, the animation isn't that bad, but my god, is it funny as hell. So, this fight could have still just been Boba Fett versus Predator, and the Predator could just be, that jungle Predator, but because the way they decide to treat it in the animation, my boy Nemi, calls this guy John Yaucha for some fucking reason. I'm just gonna call him the Predator, but while he while the start has shown that both have weapons that they cannot. Oh boy, the video took too long. Tomorrow I'm gonna do the bonus, and then the second part after that. Okay, bye.